see all of you this morning, especially in the midst of such a snowy morning. So thank you to all of you for being here today. Announcements that I need to bring to your attention. Please remember, if you have envelopes, they are in the narthex. Please take a moment to stop and look and pick them up. This is a very, very advanced save the date. May 2nd is our next silent auction and dinner. So, I have been told that Judy Browse would like to point out that now that you have this advance notice, none of you are able to put anything else on your calendar on that date. Good morning. So you now know what date that is going to take place. Correction to the bulletin, the Living Nativity starts tonight, but it starts at 6 o'clock, not 5 o'clock. For those of you that have agreed to help out, thank you so very much. Please speak with me after church. We're going to start setting up as soon as coffee hour is over. And thank you in advance for being willing to do that. Men's breakfast is taking a hiatus until January. And if you want any further information, you can talk to Peter Wood. And our next service after today is on the 24th at 6 o'clock and at 8 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, we have communion and we will have our Christmas Eve choir. And so I'm thrilled to have those dates, and the Bells will be sharing some of their ministry or their music ministry with us, so please plan on attending. Are there any other announcements that need to be shared this morning? All right, then I think one thing. Margie, did you want to say anything, or should I say it? Okay. As we announced at last week's service, the Jambali family arrived this week. And they were supposed to arrive on Tuesday. And unfortunately, their flight out of Erbil, Iraq was canceled due to fog. They arrived on Wednesday. We chartered a bus and took it down to meet them. Unfortunately for them, because by the time they arrived at Bracebridge, it was over 30 hours of travel. It took 4 hours for them to get through customs and immigration. They were very, very tired. Their flight out of Erbil on Wednesday was delayed. They did not get back to Bracebridge until 12:30 Thursday morning. But they are here, they are settled in, they were incredibly grateful. You've had a chance, I hope, to see some of the pictures from the airport as you were sitting waiting for church to begin. And there will be an opportunity in the new year where the committee will be organizing something so that we can all meet the family. They seem lovely, and Baravan and the children were absolutely beside themselves to have seen family that they hadn't seen since 2017. So, and the airport, watching all of the people coming and going from arrivals, it was like being in the beginning of Love Actually. So, it was wonderful. So we are very grateful and incredibly joyous that we have been able to have this happen. So, what did I forget, Margie?
I just wanted to pay tribute to the committee. You have no idea how much work we have done in the last 3 weeks to find accommodation and totally outfit a house with furniture and everything. And we have so much community support from the Restore to some of the businesses giving us truly deep discounts. Everybody has been so supportive that the Knox and EUC members of this committee have worked incredibly hard, and they really deserve a big thanks.
They do. And Margie, as co-chair of that committee, we thank you for working so hard on our behalf, along with Ken Turner and Kathy and Peter Wood. It has been The committee has done an amazing job. I was a Johnny-come-lately and got to go to the airport and enjoy all the good bits. But the committee has done the hard work, and it would not have been possible without you and your generosity and the generosity of the community. And so I hope you appreciate what you have given to 6 total strangers this Christmas. So thank you for that. All right, let's move to our land acknowledgement.
Good morning. Good morning. We gather in Muskoka on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe peoples, as well as the Huron-Wendat and Haudenosaunee. Ruby Harry, an Indigenous woman from Williams Lake, BC, has not had an easy life. Raised by her grandparents, they died when she was a teenager, and she began to drift into unhealthy behaviors and addiction, in part brought on by abuse in a residential school. Ultimately, she spent 20 years off and on in correctional institutions. When she finished the end of her latest sentence in 2018, she chose to be released under Section 84, a program designed for offenders to go into a halfway house in partnership with an Indigenous organization, which concentrated upon restorative justice. The Circle of Eagles Lodge Society runs the Anderson Lodge Healing Center for women in Vancouver and here. Ruby began to reconnect with her Indigenous roots, as well as learning life and job skills. She learned the construction trade and first aid and worked at a family center assisting other women and children. Ruby began a business making blankets as her grandmother had taught her, and also opened a food truck called Medicine Wheels, serving bison chili, elk stew, and bannock. Just this year, Ruby Harry's journey to health, freedom, and community was recognized when she received the King Charles III Coronation Medal for outstanding achievements to the community. As she has said, I know firsthand that restorative justice can work. There are others like me who only need a way back that includes culture and compassion. This is what Section 84 and groups like Circle of Eagles offer. Not shortcuts, but second chances, rooted in accountability and belonging. Thank you, Miigwech.
offers hope to all. From impossible births, fulfilling people's dreams, old or young, God is with us. Okay.
Oops. Roundies were good.
You know, it's funny, Paul talked about second chances. Sometimes it takes a couple tries to get things going. God's promises are true and never let us down. May the light shine and guide us in our times of darkness. Amen.
Amen.
Please join with me in our sun response. I invite you to join with me in our call to worship. Listen into the ages and the stirring of hope. In the names of God's people whispered in every child, and the long promise of love placed in them that gathers us and holds us in their light. In the sound of these ancient ones, alive to the portent that lives in their names, we speak them anew and set the promise free. Our opening hymn is found on page 73 in our Voices United hymn book and projected. The Virgin Mary had a baby boy. And if by chance when we sing the chorus you felt so inspired to clap your hands, that would be okay. He invite you to join with me in our gathering prayer. Advent God, the expectancy builds. Christmas is almost here. As in other years, we find ourselves in that familiar place of exhaustion mingled with anticipation and excitement. Our Advent journey has led us to encounter familiar characters from the Nativity. We have met angels and their song of good news, the shepherds with their inquisitive nature and their longing for recognition and respect, magi willing to submit to a new authority and generously bestowing gifts upon their new hope. We meet Mary and Joseph and Elizabeth and Zachariah and their son John, witnesses to how the story of God's love draws in all. John was called prophet of the Most High, tasked with going ahead to prepare the way, a beacon of light to those who sit in darkness. By your Spirit, make clear to us the role we are called to play in the current drama of your unfolding love for our time and world. Amen. Before we sing our next hymn, I know there are two little girls with us today. Would they like to come up to the front and talk to me for a bit, or are they happy where they are? Happy where they are? Yes? Okay. All right then. Well, it's good to have you both here this morning, and thank you for worshiping with us. And we can talk another time. Then I invite you to join together in singing a hymn, which is sadly very appropriate today. See Amid the Winter Snow, number 76 in Voices United and Projected.